Hi guys, welcome. Danny here from the Magic Junk Drawer. So today I wanted to talk about Sagittarius. The sun has just left Scorpio for Sagittarius. And if you were born on the cusp, depending on the year, the cusp is like November 21st, November 20th, November even the 19th. The 22nd is kind of cuspy. So what does that mean? What it means is, depending on the year you were born, you may be a Scorpio, you could be a Sagittarius. So your birth date really comes back to the degree that you were born at. So say for example you were born on November 21st. Well, depending on the year, you could be born at 29 degrees of Scorpio, you might be born on 28 degrees of Scorpio, or 0 degrees of Sagittarius. So that's why it's really important to know your chart so that you know the degree. For me, I was born at 15 degrees of Pisces. Some years it's on March 5th, some years it's on March 6th, some years it's on March 7th, so it's really about the degree. That's your birth date. And that's what brings in your solar return. So the solar return chart is what's happening for you in the next year or the next year and a half, give or take. So when you look at the solar return chart, it brings the sun back to the degree that you were born at, and where all the other planets fall in the houses and how they aspect one another. That's how we kind of predict what kind of a year it would be. For example, for me this year, I am Libra rising, which means that relationships are on the forefront for me. And it's not just like personal relationships, it's all kinds of relationships. It's relationships with everything. That's kind of what I'm living this year. Now, next year, I don't know what my rising sign is. I'll have to go back and look. I haven't looked at my chart for next year yet, but it'll be something different. I won't be a Libra rising next year. I'll be something different, and my moon will have changed. This year, my moon, I believe, is in Gemini, and it's in my first house natally. So it gets kind of confusing. So I'm Gemini rising in my natal chart. That's my life. Your natal chart is sort of who you are for your whole life. Your solar return is sort of who you are for that year. So being that the moon this year is in Gemini on my birthday, my solar return moon is in my natal first house. I know, it gets very complicated, and that's why people always have so many questions. And when you hand somebody their chart, they're like, oh, what is this? What do all these lines mean? So don't let it overwhelm you, because we can break things down. We can go through everything house by house, planet by planet, aspect by aspect. And it's, then you use a little bit of intuition too, because there are some things, that, like, for example, Sagittarius has got a whole list of characteristics. If you're a Sagittarius, you're the nomad, you're the wanderer, you need a lot of freedom. If you tell a Sagittarius to be somewhere at a certain time, hey, be at my house at 12 o'clock on Saturday, well, you'll be lucky if they show up at 2:30 on Sunday. That's Sagittarius. They're wild, they're freedom loving, they don't like rules, they're a whole lot of fun, but they can be a little bit like nailing Jello to a wall. But not every Sagittarius carries those traits. You could have a Sagittarian that has a lot of Scorpio in him, and then he has much more Scorpio traits. Or you can have somebody born towards the end of Sagittarius that holds a lot more Capricorn traits. And Capricorn and Sagittarius are so totally different. It's like Sagittarius is like the life of the party. I want to party, never caring about the paying or even how much I owed. What's the song, that Bob Seger song? Never cared about paying or even how much I owed. That's like Sagittarius. And Capricorn is like, you have to get a job, and you have to get up, and you have to go to work, and I'm going to teach you lessons, and they're very different. So when somebody is born at the very cusp of Sagittarius and Capricorn, they're a little bit different than someone who is Sagittarian. Sagittarian people can kind of live by their own rules. And it is no surprise that as we start to usher in the festivities, the holiday season, the sun has just moved into Sagittarius. So the sun moved into Sagittarius, and now here in the U.S. we're going to be celebrating Thanksgiving, and then we have the whole Black Friday thing, and the Cyber Monday, and the Small Business Saturday, and all of this festivities. Like, that's all very Sagittarian. And by the time the holiday season is wearing down, we've moved into Capricorn. And things start to settle down. And then, at least for us here in the Northeast, it becomes very solemn in January. You know, it's very Capricorn here. It may not be so Capricorn in, you know, maybe Florida or California where it's sunnier, but here it's very like, it's dark out, we have to go home, we have to go to bed, we have to plan for tomorrow. So things kind of change. If you're a Sagittarius, you enjoy the limelight, you like attention, you're a lot of fun, you're freedom loving, and you tend to take risks. You like to have your hand in everything, and Sagittarians are very much a dualistic sign. You could have 2 jobs, 2 careers, 2 dogs, 2 cats, 2 wives, 2 husbands, whatever, you know. Sagittarian and Gemini kind of share that multiplicity thing. You know, and it could also be different lives. Like, something Sagittarian can be somebody that maybe spends their first half of their life in a very stable relationship, working for a stable company and doing having a very stable, regimented life. And then, I don't know, has a midlife crisis, buys a new car, gets divorced, and now all of a sudden does something totally different, sells shells on the seashore or something. Like, that's Sagittarian. It's different. It's out of the box. It's extraordinary. They're ruled by Jupiter, so they tend to be very lucky. They tend to get away with things that some other people can't get away with. Come on, Dylan, you want to say hello? Say hello. Dylan, say hello. Look at the camera. All right, you quiet down. So if you're Sagittarius, happy birthday. And we will see you soon. If you like what we're doing here at the Magic Junk Drawer, don't forget to like and subscribe.